back to the Hay Meadow. My name is Hayley, and today we are going through my Frocktails 2025 make list. Now you will have followed me for the last few weeks or months actually, when I have actually made videos talking about my Frocktails dress. Now, I haven't been very forthcoming because right up until only a couple of weeks ago, I didn't actually know firmly what I was going to make. Now, if you've been here for any length of time, you'll know that my sister Rhianne and I are heading along to Frocktails. Rhianne took up sewing last year, I think it was, and she came with me last year. We made different patterns but in the same fabric last year. So last year I made a shirt. I think I made the Style Arc Palmer shirt dress, and in fabulous fabric from the Dahlia Society. I'd received it in a box, and then Kristen actually advertised that she had some leftover fabric in that pattern, and Rhianne loved it when she saw the unboxing. So she grabbed some of that fabric and we decided to make the same fabric, different patterns. So I don't even recall what she made. She may have even gone off track and done her own thing. I think it was based on a specific pattern, but she's very much go with the flow, make changes as she goes. Very adventurous. Me, not so much. She is a Sagittarius. She is always off on some fiery adventure. I am a steadfast Taurus, just plodding along, following the rules. So I'm okay with that. She's okay with that. Together, we make one perfect human. That is our story and we're sticking to it. Anyway, okay. Rabbiting on as normal. Hello. Hello. Sia's just come to say hello. So this year we decided that we would use different fabric but the same pattern. So initially, and I will put up my little twirls whilst I'm talking. It's been raining today, so the twirls are quite quick. Because I was doing it in between showers, so, you know. So first up, we decided on the Style Arc Hampton dress. Now, when that was first released, I really liked the look of it. And then when her and I sat down and were talking about what we would make, that one came up. She really liked the look of it as well, so we decided on that one. So, of course, I make a toile. And this is it here. I will, you will have seen the twirls. Really lovely dress. I made the sleeveless version in this, that's actually a dusky pink linen. And that was the fabric I was referring to in a recent video where I talked about linen lint on bedding, because that used to be a flat sheet. So it's relaxed, beautiful, really enjoy it. And here comes Chris to say hello. Hello.
Hello.
That's all right, I'll block it out.
I don't see you down there.
I'm using your chair. It's very comfortable. I like it. You might not get it back after this.
Sorry.
You're right. Whether I cut that out or not, Chris was just putting something away that I have left out. That's pretty normal, pretty typical. So I made my Hampton woven dress in that linen bed sheet, and it's lovely. I really like it. When the weather warms up, it's going to be beautiful. Now, I was a little concerned because being an apple shape, my midsection is I don't have that hourglass look. However, because of the shaping within the pattern, I think it's come up really nicely. I did grade from the bust or shoulders and bust to the next, I think it was either 1 or 2 sizes up to accompany my waist. But as you can see from my twirls, it skims, it's still nice and flowy, and there's plenty of ease so that I'm nice and comfortable, because there is nothing worse, and I'm not sure about you, but in the summertime, especially when you're wearing a solid colour like the Hampton that I've made there, you know, a bit of humidity, a bit of sweat, you don't want those sweat patches. So I did make the sleeveless version in that particular one, and if I was, or when I make another version, I'll probably do it in a print, and I may actually size it down one and have it a little bit more fitted, and I'll probably do the short sleeve version, or I may even, you know, bring it up to a bit of a cap sleeve. So I'll still, this one here, you will have seen that the sleeveless version, it is still a nice, it covers a good amount, so you know, I feel that that is still work appropriate for in the office. But yes, so I really, really liked wearing that one. I actually wore it to my sister-in-law's birthday a couple of weekends ago now, and it was lovely and comfortable. Okay, so we both made our Hampton. Hopefully I have some footage of Rhianne's Hampton as well, and I'll include that.
And this is my version of the Hampton. Let's find those pockets, because a dress with pockets must be shown. I decided to go for a cap sleeve. And a high-low hemline. Also, made a belt.
Made our Hampton, but I didn't feel like it had the, I don't know if it's pizzazz, but it didn't have what I was looking for this time for Frocktails. As I've said before, I'm not really a fancy dress for fancy dress sake maker. I wanted something that's going to be re-wearable without any issues, normally for work, so it's that bit of a smart casual type of look. So Rhianne also felt that perhaps it wasn't exactly what she wanted for Frocktails either, so we were back to the drawing board. Excuse me. Too much talking. Back to the drawing board, and I had a look at the Itch to Stitch Antrim dress. Now, I'd recently mentioned the Antrim dress when I was talking about the changing styles that I'm sort of looking at, going for that sort of fit and flare type, whether it's a blouse or a shirt and a skirt, or a fit and flare style dress. Now, I talked about the Antrim dress, so I thought, well, put your fabric where your mouth is and actually make one. So my toile I made in this beautiful Lady McElroy, I think it's called Mademoiselle. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what that one's called. Now this was from an early box from the Dahlia Society, and it's an absolutely gorgeous, I think it's a viscose spandex. It's either a viscose spandex or a viscose elastane, I'm not sure, don't quote me. And that came up an absolute treat. I really like that. I've worn that one to work with a little, it was a bit cool on that day, so I wore a little knit short sleeve top over the top of it. like a little jumper, but it was short sleeve, and I really enjoyed that. So yes, so that one I did as the toile. It came together beautifully. It fits lovely. I was a little worried that I might need to shorten the bodice, but not at all. It fits and sits really, really nice. As you will have seen, I did put the pockets in there. Now, when I finished that one and wore it, I thought, I think I could probably go down one size in the waist, because it sits lovely and it is fitted. However, I feel like it could have gone that one size smaller. So when I then made my next version, which could have been my Frocktails dress, now you will recognise this one from a very recent Dahlia Society box. I think that is that the True Romance? I think that could be the Romance box, which is only, was it the Romance or was that the last? No, Bewitched was the one that we've just done. So yes, it was actually the Romance box from the, not the last box, which was yesterday, the one before. Sorry, you know me, go off on a tangent. And I did say that that was highly likely to be made up very quickly, because immediately I'd already made this and I hadn't decided what fabric, but once I saw that, I immediately knew that it would be perfect, absolutely perfect. And yeah, so I sized down. Now this one was actually a viscose crepe, I believe. Now this again is another Lady McElroy fabric, and beautiful. Now because it's the crepe, it is a little bit more compared to this one. The fabric is a little bit more delicate, but also a little bit more, I'm not sure if it's a looser weave, but the stretch was a lot more, to the point where, although I went down in the waist for this particular one, it didn't actually tighten it up, because the weave of the fabric is a little bit more looser. I'm not sure. That could be totally the opposite. However, when it's made up and you're wearing it, it feels a bit more relaxed, looser. Yeah. So as you can see, the fit is still beautiful. I really like it. I have not worn that one out in the wild yet, but was so tempted to do so. So yes, so that one came up beautifully as well. Nice and swishy skirts. I did put the pockets in that one as well. For that one, because I noticed that the fabric itself was a little bit looser, what I did was I used I think it's a cotton spandex jersey for the waist. Now, the waist is actually, to achieve that ruching, there are two panels for the waist. So the inside panel is narrower than the outside panel, and then you stitch them together with some, what are they called, gathering on the sides to create that ruching, so that when it's stretched taut when you're wearing it, the ruching sort of sits along the waistline there. Now, because of the fabric, I thought it would be worthwhile using a bit more of a structured, firmer fabric for the inside panel, rather than, I was a bit worried about it becoming a bit saggy if I had used the crepe as the fabric for the inside as well. So both the pockets and also that inside panel are made with just a plain black cotton spandex jersey, just from Spotlight, and that has come up lovely. So really enjoy that one as well, and I reckon that's going to make an appearance at work now that I've talked about it. Okay, so made those up. Really love them. still didn't know if it was going to be the dress that I wanted. Rhianne didn't make this one at all. Not really her kind of style. So, you know, there was that. So then what was back to the drawing board. Okay, what are we going to look at? Now, not long after that, the Atelier Jupe, Atelier Jupe decided that they would release their latest round of patterns, which included a renewal, an upgrade to the Pippa dress. Now, the Pippa dress was originally a sheath dress, or a, what else do they call that? What do they call that sort of dress? Can't remember. If it comes to me, I'll say it. So the renewal included some ties that can go into the side seams and wrap around to create a more cinched in silhouette. And that was it. It was sold. I loved the look of it. And so I floated it with Rhianne because, as I mentioned recently, I was lucky enough to be accepted into the Beyond the Pink Door ambassador group. And part of that was for the new Atelier Jupe season release. Some of the ambassadors, you could choose to do a release which included some of the fabric, the new Atelier Jupe fabric, and a pattern from Andrea to support that new release. The other option was that we could have a copy of one of the new patterns and in our own time show off that pattern as part of the ambassador program, and that's what I decided to do. The time frame for the fabric and pattern to meet the deadline for the new release was just not going to be possible. One, because I live in Australia, so to even get the fabric here was probably going to eclipse the time for the release. It was a very short deadline. So I decided that I would go for the Pippa 2.0, and that in a time I would do my own fabric and show it off then. Well, all the planets aligned, and I thought, oh, hang on a minute. I have some Beyond the Pink Door exclusive fabric. I bought 3 meters of that at the time. Perfect. I will hit 3 birds with 1 stone, and I will do my Frocktails dress. I will use the Pippa 2.0, and I will use my Beyond the Pink Door exclusive fabric. Now, this is the gorgeous, I don't remember the name of it. I should have looked it up quickly, but I didn't. Very bad. This is the multiple animal print in glorious colours that I fell in love with when Andrea released that exclusive fabric that she has put out. So yes, so this has come up beautifully. Now, when I floated this one with Rhianne, I showed her the pattern and she immediately went and bought it herself. Because it is really, it's right up her alley, and given that the pattern itself is so straightforward, she was very happy to buy the pattern and then go away and select her fabric, which she has done. She had recently been to Spotlight herself. They were having a big sale and she had bought the perfect fabric for her. So I'm sure there'll be some pictures going on while I'm talking about it.
This is my version of the Pippa. I loved the pattern so much when I saw Hayley's. Had to get it myself, but had to change the sleeves because that's just what I do. Thing I love the most, I think, is this belt. I've wrapped it around the back first to to a nice generous bow, but it can be done many, many different ways. Oh yeah, and I changed the hemline slightly because that's what I do.
Yeah, so the only thing I would say with the Pippa is the pockets. They seem very shallow, and the pocket opening itself is very wide. So on my next version, which there will be more of these in the future, more than one. I'm actually going to, and I've already made a note on my pattern piece, to reduce the opening for the hand to go in. Even with my massive hands, there's plenty of room, and I'm actually going to make them deeper. I may just reduce the hem because I think it's a 1.5 centimetre seam in that pocket. So I may just reduce it to the overlocking around the edge. So instead of sewing the seam and then overlocking the edge, I might just overlock. So you'll get that extra it'll probably be 1 centimetre. But then again, I may actually, next time I'm cutting that out, I may actually adjust the pocket to make the pocket bag itself deeper, because it's quite shallow in my opinion. And I spoke to Rhianne and she felt the same way about it, because initially I thought, did I make a mistake when I was putting my markings on the fabric? Did I make a mistake, make the opening too wide and make the pocket too shallow? No, it seems I didn't. So there we have it. That is my introduction to our Frocktails adventures. So what is next? Well, tonight is Frocktails, so this dress here is going to be showcased out in the wild. So from here, I am going to go in and pack up what I need to take this evening, because I'm going to head down to Rhianne's and we're going to get ready together. She's going to do my hair and makeup. God knows what that's going to look like. Probably a lot more dramatic than if I was to do it myself. And then we are going to hit the Frocktails town tonight and enjoy a really lovely evening with all of the other Adelaide sewing ladies. Well, not all of them, because not everybody goes, but we're going to go and enjoy ourselves at Frocktails tonight. Catch up with some of the other Adelaide sewing people and have a really wonderful night. So I expect that I'll probably do some filming as we're getting ready, and then I'll do a little bit of filming tonight. It won't be a great deal. As I've discussed before, I'm actually much more of a enjoy the moment than film it type of person. So I can imagine that's probably a little disappointing from a viewer's perspective, but as I've discussed previously, it's my channel. I'll do what I want to. Very arrogant, very arrogant. So there we go. So I will leave it there. Do you like the chair? Do you like this chair? Little bit of a side story. I bought this chair last week whilst Chris was away at work, with the idea that I'm actually going to set it up in here in the sewing room so that we can spend some time together while I'm out here sewing. Normally what happens is when Chris is home from work, I tend to try and not spend so much time out here, because he'll be in the lounge room watching a movie or something through closed eyes in there. And it kind of feels a little bit disjointed. So sometimes I won't sew basically at all while he's home, because in the evenings after work, we'll just go and whether it's watch something or, you know, something like that. Now, normally that involves him sleeping in the chair and me kind of watching something, but also I might be playing solitaire on my iPad or something crazy like that. So instead, I thought, it would be nice, because I've got a massive big TV out here as well, and we both have similar viewing interests, that I thought, you know what, I might get a really nice comfortable chair out here for him to come and sleep in while I'm sewing. It sounds perfect. And so I picked this chair up from Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, during the week. It's a lovely, lovely sort of wing back chair in a beautiful blue leather. So yeah, I do have like a Chesterfield armchair out here, but it's very low, and getting out of it when you're 6'4" is a bit of a challenge. So, and apart from that, I've got my white wicker type IKEA wingback chairs, which Chris doesn't find overly comfortable to sit in for a long period of time. So I thought, well, I'll have a look, see what I can find. And this, I was looking at a few. This was actually number one on my list of desirability when we were there. There was another one that was gorgeous. Absolutely. It was very ornate, very carved, but it had a velvet. The back and the seat and the armrests were in a gorgeous, 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 it's probably a dark blue, purple velvet. Divine. Absolutely divine. However, every time I looked at it, all I could see was dog hair. I'm thinking, oh my God, it's going to end up looking like a dog hair carpet, and I just couldn't do that to it. So I thought, well, if I can't have that, this is a good second. So isn't it lovely? Anyway, that was a total side note. I'll leave it there, and the next thing you are going to see is, who knows, something along the lines of me with Rhianne talking about getting ready for Frocktails. So with that, let's go to Frocktails. Just like that, the night is over. It is Sunday afternoon. And Frocktails for 2025 is done and dusted. And what a fantastic night it was. Now, before we get into that, I am wearing the Friday Pattern Company Donny shirt. You might recall this one. It's in a gorgeous embroidered double gauze from Beyond the Pink Door. This was a remnant piece. Has a wonderful, hopefully I'm putting up a picture, a wonderful embroidered eyelet type of detail, which I've used to make the hem. And I did make a bit of a boo-boo and cut my the top yoke here, but Aunt Robin fixed that up for me with some embroidery. I'm also wearing it with my So Liberated chanterelle pants in a navy linen. So just nice, relaxed and comfortable today on Sunday for recovery day. I say recovery day, but it's only because it was a late night. So, how was it? It was fabulous. Absolutely wonderful. Now, after I filmed yesterday, I had to get myself together and have a shower, get ready so that I could walk out the door to Rhianne's house where we were going to get ready together. Now, we did take some footage, but we were excited. And also because I probably arrived a bit later than I should have, I got to her place just after 5, which was great. But I did have to stop on the way because, so you'll recall the fabric that I chose to make my Pippa 2.0 is this Midnight Prowl. So this is a Beyond the Pink Door exclusive fabric. And this is going to be a So Inspired Beyond the Pink Door ambassador video. So this is a Beyond the Pink Door exclusive fabric. I got 3 meters of this when it came out, and it had been sitting there wondering, what am I going to do? And perfect, absolutely perfect combination of dress and fabric. Now, as you can see, there are plenty of colours. Where did that big piece go? Plenty of colours that I could use for my accessories. But I decided that I would go for a nude. So I've got a beautiful pair of nude shoes. These are the ones that I wore last night. So cute. I love them. Little slingback with a little heel. Aren't they so cute? And they're in a sort of a pinky nude. Now, previously when I've worn those, I wore those shoes to the wedding that I went to at the end of March this year, where I made what did I make? It was a wrap dress. Can't think of it at the moment. The Elodie wrap dress, and I wore those shoes, and I used this little clutch bag. Now you can see when I put them together that they're actually not really the same shade, but I figured because, you know, I'm sort of, you know, they're not right next to each other, it wouldn't be quite so noticeable. So, you know, that was fine. However, when I pulled it out on Friday, I think it was, I opened it up to check it out, and it just started coming apart. I have had it for a few years, but again, it's not one of those things that it gets a lot of use. So I was a little bit disappointed, but you know, I'm not going to say it was the most expensive when I bought it. So I was immediately like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do now? I had a look. I have another little one, but that's got a bit of it's a nude, but it's a bit of a silvery sheen to it. I thought, no, that's not going to do it. So I thought, okay, on the way to Rhianne's, I'm going to stop in at TK Maxx and also at Harbour Town if I don't find anything at TK Maxx. We've got one not far from us. And I'll see if I can find something. So I popped into TK Maxx, and I did buy a little bag, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I wasn't really sure whether it was going to be right. Now, we had some thunderstorms yesterday, so when I was stopping at these shops, there was literally a thunderstorm happening. It was pouring with rain, so, you know, I didn't want to fuss about too much. And I had packed my shoes into I took a suitcase because I took like my camera gear and stuff as well, so Rhianne and I could do some filming of getting ready. And I thought, oh, I should take a shoe in. I didn't. I regret doing that, but, you know, we live and learn. So I did buy a little bag, and I thought, well, I'll stop in at Harbour Town and see if I can find anything better. If not, I'll just go with that. So when I got to Harbour Town, I parked, and again, it had actually, the rain had reduced. It had eased off a little bit. And I thought, I'll get my shoe out of the boot. But what I didn't realise is I backed into my car park, and it had, well, there was a bush there for one thing. But it also had like a little flower bed type thing. And I stepped in that, and it was actually waterlogged, and I had sandals on, so my left foot was wet. So I was like, oh, so I didn't get my shoe out. I just wanted to get in and get it over and done with. So I popped in, I went into Strand Bags, and there was a little Guess one there that I think may have worked. But I went to, there used to be, I haven't been to Harbour Town for a while. Harbour Town is located near the beach down at it's not West Beach. I don't know what suburb it is, but it's near the airport here in Adelaide, and it's a direct factory outlet type of setup. So it's your big brands, their end of line, that sort of stuff, reduced, that sort of thing. So I thought, well, I know that there's a few bag shops there. There aren't anymore. There's one. There was one that I can find anyway, which was Strand, which was a bit disappointing, but whatever. So there was a little Guess one there, which was sort of like a pinky kind of colour, but it had like Guess all over it and that sort of thing. And I would rather something plain than something with brands all over it. So anyway, I didn't end up getting it. I thought I'll just go with what I've got. So I arrived at Rhianne's house and we were having a look because she hadn't chosen a bag either. I'll show you the one that I got. This is the one that I bought at at TK Maxx. So really cute. Just a little bag. Really cute. It was only like $40, I think. So it's not leather, hence why it was only like $40. So yes, so I thought, well, if that all else fails, I've got that. As you can see, it is vastly different. So there was that. Anyway, so we're looking through her bags, and she happened to have a little pinky shade Guess bag. So I used that. She didn't have a little white evening bag, and she was wearing white shoes, so she used that new one. So perfect. So yes, that was all good fun. So there you go. So as you saw, Rhianne, she just goes and does her own thing. There are no rules. She just does what she wants, and there you go. But it turned out brilliant, and I love that little belt. That belt is a fabulous addition to that. So yes. And then it was time for us to both get ready. So she did my hair and makeup for me, which was great. I did buy some new makeup while I was at the shops because I just use a BB cream. I'm sort of getting to the stage where it's not that I don't want to wear makeup. I don't wear a great deal of makeup to start with. I just wear some BB cream, a bit of eyeliner, and some mascara. That's basically it. That's me, done and dusted. And then I tend to touch my face all day, so it ends up rubbed off anyway. So just the way it is. But I thought, oh, okay, we're going to go out. I'll do the right thing. But I went into Priceline, and the lighting was absolutely shocking. So I normally buy Rimmel, is my preferred foundation brand, just because it seems to sit nicer on me, whatever. However, all the testers were gone, and because I was buying an actual foundation and not the BB cream, I wanted to make sure that I got the right colour. But it didn't matter anyway, because the lighting in the makeup area, absolutely terrible. In fact, on the Rimmel stand, and I did look around, but they were all awful. They had like a big mirror for you to try and test things out, but the mirror had this big, thick surround around it, which was red with lights behind it. So it was actually what's it called? Giving you a reddy pinky tone. Well, that is unhelpful when you're looking to match a foundation. Like, whose idea was that? Where did that person go to design or marketing or whatever school to think that that was going to be a good idea? Probably art school, if you're talking about colours. Anyway, enough whinging about that. So I bought a foundation. It's probably one shade too light. I am quite pale. Anyway. So sometimes, I just need to find the right one, and then it's fine. But yeah, anything else and you sort of the tide line going along, and anyway. But I also bought, a couple of other things. So Rhianne did my makeup and hair for me, which was great because she did the curly thing with the straightener. I can't do that. And yes, and then we popped our dresses on. We were all set to rock and roll. Now, when we bought our tickets, there was an option to get a name badge. So your name and also your Instagram or social media handle. So I got one and so did Rhianne. So how cute are they? So that was mine. So I proudly put that on. And I started to mingle and it was really great. Now, one thing that I should mention is that one of my lovely subscribers, Irene, she contacted me a little while ago and said that, you know, she was a subscriber and that she was thinking of coming to the Adelaide Frocktails. Asked me if I was going and I was like, of course, come. So I met Irene and it was fabulous, really, really good to meet her. She stayed at the venue, which meant she could really enjoy herself and, yeah, have a great time. She actually won a prize too, which is fabulous, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So, yes, and it was great to catch up with, you know, sewers that we've spoken to and met previously at some of the other gatherings, and it was wonderful. I love making new friends when you've got something to talk about. And of course, and this is a conversation that happens no doubt at every Frocktails, every sewing event. It's the only place you can walk up to somebody that you don't know and say, oh my goodness, I love your what? Can I feel your fabric? You know, and suddenly you've made a new friend. It's so good. It's so fantastic. There were so many prizes. Oh my goodness. We had prizes from Lush Fabric. There was a Lush Fabric box. One of my lovely friends, Anne, she walked away with that. Lucky thing. There was a Burnett sewing machine donated by Milan's sewing centre here in Adelaide. How fantastic. And one of, I think it was one of the organisers, or, you know, who is part of the organising team, I think she might have won that. And if that's not a thank you to the hard work that goes in behind the scenes for these things, I don't know what is. I was really pleased to see that the organisers included themselves in the prize draw, and they won things as well, which was really, really good, because sometimes those sorts of coordinating jobs can be quite thankless and very time consuming and very resource consuming too. Having done things in the past, being a coordinator type person, sometimes you're paying for stuff that nobody sees. So it can be quite thankless. So I want those ladies to know that I'm very thankful for all of the effort they put in, and was so totally rapt to see that they'd been lucky enough to win prizes too. So it was all very above board, very fair. There was a little, you chose a little ball with a number on it when you first arrived, and that went into the little, you know, bingo machine thing, and then the ball was pulled out and announced as the winner of whatever that particular prize was. So all fair and above board. It was great. So we had, as I said, we had Milan's donated a sewing machine, a Burnett sewing machine, which is great. Burnett is actually the brand that I use, so that was really good. Lush Fabrics, Kristen from the Dahlia Society had donated a voucher as well, which was wonderful. The Fabric Store, Pattern Emporium, Peppermint Magazine, is it People Who Sew, all sorts, lots and lots and lots, which was really, really good. There was another of the Metler thread cases. You'll recall from last year how I got one for Christmas after I had said to Chris that I was tempted to roll the winner in the car park for that thread box. So that was great. Now, I won a prize. I won a $25 US dollar gift voucher for, I think it's We Who Sew or something like that. I should have written it down, but I didn't. Which was fantastic. And Irene had also won, she had won a $50 voucher for a store here in Adelaide. Actually, I did write that one down. Maybe I didn't. Anyway, so that was great. And Rhianne also won a prize. She won the Peppermint Magazine prize, which included 2 editions of Peppermint Magazine with all their patterns. Plus, I'm pretty sure in the packet, I wasn't there when she opened it, well, there were an extra 2 Peppermint Magazine patterns. So I must call her today, find out what those were and which editions they were. That's one thing I don't get is the Peppermint magazines. Peppermint pattern magazines. So yes, so how exciting for her. Now towards the end of the night, just as before Rhianne and I were going, Irene came and asked me, she said that the voucher that she'd received was for in-store here in Adelaide, and of course she's from Melbourne, so she wanted to give it to me. So I actually said, well, why don't we swap, because the one that I had was online, so she could definitely use that, and then I can use the one here in Adelaide. So, you know, that was great. Very, very good. So lots of prizes, lots of happy winners. It was really, really good. What else do we have? Oh, we had a professional photographer, and I think he was having the time of his life. He was mingling amongst the crowd, and it was a crowd. It was really, really well attended. And he was taking lots of photos and getting people out to have individual photos and group photos. And, you know, he was also catching the action shots around, so which was good. He also set up sort of in another the room we were in had an adjoining area which led to like bathrooms and an outside area, and there was a staircase and like a nice little seating quiet sort of area, and so he had set himself up out there to take pictures as well, so you had a nice background. So I had photos with Rhianne, I think I had one of myself, I had some with Anne and what was her name? Oh my goodness, I can't think of her name. It might have been Jen. Sorry. Which was fabulous. I had photos with Irene. It was such a good time. So everyone was really getting into the spirit of it, and it was fantastic. Food, plenty of finger foods were coming around, little arancini balls. We had little spinach and ricotta sausage roll type things. There was some fruit platters getting around. Yum. Really, really good. So yes, and then as the evening drew to a close, so it was scheduled to end, or the official ending time I think was about 9:30. Well, Rhianne and I didn't leave till about 10:30, and I got home just after midnight. So I've had to go out to the car and drag everything in, because I just got out the car and come inside once I'd calmed down a bit and went to bed. So, but it was fabulous, absolutely fabulous. So, in summary, I've probably been putting pictures and stuff of the night, but this video is going to be getting very long now. So in summary, bringing the whole thing to a close, I was extremely happy with my dress. So as I may have mentioned at the start, I received the dress pattern as a ambassador project from Andrea Beyond the Pink Door and Atelier Jupe. So I've made it up in my fantastic exclusive Beyond the Pink Door Midnight Prowl viscose. So it's 100% viscose. It's a beautiful, it's a 110 GSM. So it was lovely and smooth and cool and light, which is just what we want for, you know, this heading into the warmer weather here. I think I may have said earlier in the video, the only thing, I did have a boo-boo with the sleeve. I cut out the long sleeve for some reason. I read the pattern pieces wrong and cut out the 3/4 sleeve instead of the short sleeve. So I just chopped it off. I didn't even measure where I was chopping it off from. I just chopped it off and it ended up probably similar length to this actually, so just above the elbow, and it was perfect, absolutely perfect. The only change I would make for next time I make it will be to deepen the pocket and also reduce the opening of the pocket because it's quite open, quite long. Aside from that, absolutely fabulous, really great dress. Can't recommend it enough. So there we go. That is it for Adelaide Frocktails 2025. Fantastic evening, fantastic people, wonderful organisation, excellent night had by all. Big thank you to Andrea from Beyond the Pink Door and Atelier Jupe for my complimentary pattern. A-OK. And my fabulous dress is now ready to be worn in the wild at will, so I can wear it to work now. So after all of that, I shall say see you for Frocktails 2026. But in between then, I'll see you in the next video.